Hello guys, today we are going to do the US Senate. That is the topic which is left. You can see this is the logo of the United States Senate. Now we will learn that why the Senate is already the second house but the most powerful house. How can we do it? Let us see. Now that you know what are the features of the US House of Representatives, it's important for you to know the Senate as well. So as to conclude that the Senate is sometimes equal when it comes to certain powers, but than the US House of Representative, but it's all the time more powerful. So let us see in what way. Let us see the qualifications just like we saw the US House of Representatives. I have divided this video because a video will become too long if I go on teaching, so you can see many parts are there. So I thought that it will be helpful for you to understand more details, otherwise it will become a difficult and confusing. You need to be have clear crystal like concepts in your mind. Okay, let's start then. Okay, first is that the Senate is the house of the representatives of the states. Now here each state sends an equal number of representatives, that is 2 members. We know the Senate consists of 200 members, 50 states are there, so 2 members from each state. The state's size doesn't matter here. Size means population or territory, doesn't matter. You see, Nevada in US is much smaller than New York, but both of them sends 2 representatives. So we know the composition also. Now we move on to the qualification. Again the same qualification as that of the US House of Representatives. Okay, Senate as the final judge of qualification of the senators. They can pass a resolution that this are the by a 2/3 majority, again majority of the members, they can pass a resolution that yes, this is the qualification, these are the qualifications that politician needs to pass so as to become a member of the Senate. So it can change from time to time according to their needs, so they have the power to decide this. Now the method of election, I want to make you hear this, that in 1913 by the 17th amendment of the US Constitution, indirect elections were replaced by direct popular elections. And now you don't need to know the history, but yes, previously before 1913 it was indirect elections of the second house as we have in case of India, but now they are direct popular elections. This has changed the Senate into from a mere indirectly elected house to a directly elected and popular house. Voters can directly vote, so this makes the upper house more popular than the lower house. Okay, now tenure is 6 years. We know that this house doesn't dissolve. 1/3 of the members retire every 2 years. Okay, so each member enjoys a period of 6 years. Okay, the quorums are there. Quorum means you know that, and sessions means you know that. In other words, a majority of its members constitute the quorum for its meeting. Supposedly 51 members are there, they will start their meeting. So it is the minimum number of members that has to be present, that have to be present in order to start a session or a meeting. Okay, now the privileges. What are the privileges? No senator can be arrested in a civil case during the sessions, cannot be compelled to act as a witness or a judge in the court of law. They will if they make something happen that leads to the contempt of the Senate, then he or she will have to be resigned or thrown away from the house with a discussion also. Now that the Senate enjoy perfect freedom of discussion. They are free discussion, means they can use anything, any word they like. Okay, they can freely discuss and discourse with others, and they are, the Senate has refused to adopt anything corresponding to the 1 hour rule. Okay, that means a senator can speak twice in a single day. He may like to speak. There is a full freedom of debate in the Senate. Unless there is a debate, how can the laws be passed then? Now, the freedom of the Senate is misused. Like several, this is called filibuster, which means that several senators, they use this their privilege to speak for hours, not letting the others to speak. They always use obstruction, and it always, this obstruction, excessive obstruction in the speaking of the other members. Okay, this leads to a veto or deadlock situation where the veto votes comes into play. So this thing has been on record by a senator, you will write in the comment section, who spoke for 22 hours and 26 minutes. You know, the record was recorded, his his debate. Now you will write the name of the senator in the comment section. To prevent it, what did they do? In 1917, they came out with that of 1/60th members initiated this, that in order to stop the misuse of powers and the filibuster like situation, they said that from today onwards, the 2/3 members, if they want that the speech of a person needs to be stopped, now they can vote and the senator will have to stop. Okay, this was to ensure that everybody gets a chance and the misuse can be eradicated. Now, the presiding officer, told you that the vice president is the presiding officer. Now, the rules of the Senate is no way to strengthen his position. The vice president votes in case of a tie, deadlock situation, veto vote. Okay, that's only referred. In absence of the vice president, the president appoints a temporary member who presides over the meetings. Okay, now we come to the main thing, that is the powers and functions of the Senate. Now, in case first we will divide into appointment making. Now, the Senate has an important role in this area, appointment making. Thus, all appointments made by the president require approval of the Senate. If the Senate uses say that they accept the appointments, then the person is appointed. But if they don't accept, the appointment is declared unvalid. Okay, now there is a ratify treaties. Now, if 2/3 majority of treaties with what? With foreign countries. Treaties, they sign a trade deal agreement, or supposedly take for example the Brexit. The Europe, France, like left this Brexit, and this was discussed, this was ratified also. Although this is in case of France, which has a different constitution, we will know in a while, but still in this way the powers are there. Now, in 1999, the Senate refused to ratify the CTBT. You will write in the comment section what is CTBT. And the president of US then, at the time, he wanted to sign it, but the Senate does not approve, so it was not signed. This purpose. Now, Senate as the court of impeachment, it has the sole power to impeach a person. Now, impeachment can be introduced to punish a person who has done an arbitrary exercise of his powers, and the resolution passed contains charges against the concerned official. Now, after investigation hearing, the Senate accepts and passes the impeachment resolution again by the 2/3 majority. If they think that the person is a convict, then he will be liable to punishment, can permanently disqualify him also, but it is not the president, it is the senate. It is mainly there to check the powers of the if the president used arbitrary powers, to check upon arbitrary powers. Okay, now other powers. Now again, we have done legislative powers. In case of legislation, a non-money bill can be originated in any of the houses, but it needs ratification from both the houses. The president will have to sign it by within 10 days. Okay, if he doesn't sign or doesn't do that thing, a deadlock is caused. So a joint conference is also there. I have explained you in my previous video, still I will tell you to those who are new here. And it is a 6-member committee, and the senate always has a higher opinion, because in all cases we have seen, if there is a legislative deadlock, then it is in favor of the senate only. Now comes the financial powers. It plays an important role. It can be introduced, the money bills can only be introduced in the House of Representatives and not the Senate. And then after coming to the House of Representatives, after getting approved, it need to go to the Senate. The Senate will make amendments, and the final shape will depend on the wishes of the Senate and not the House of Representatives. Now in this, like, the origination is in the House of Representatives as a matter of fact, but the real power of amendment lies in the United States, and the House of Representatives cannot question them. Okay, because there is a huge separation of powers between them. There is separation of the legislature and the executive as far as the US Constitution is parliament is concerned. Now the investigation powers. Now if some member or state department sometimes doesn't follows, or his activities need to be controlled or judged, they can appoint a committee, investigative committees, which will act as a extrajudicial system. They will decide upon his review his and review, not only review but here examine his charges. Okay, it can also obtain detailed information about the person. The US Senate can obtain that, and for conducting all investigation, they can appoint this investigation committees. Now come to the constituent powers, means with regards to constitution. Both the houses can propose the amendments, whether it is the United States Senate or United States House of Representatives. Anyone can propose amendments, but in a joint session it had to be there, so that it also needs to get passed again by a 2/3 majority. And then that's why we say that it's very difficult to pass amendments, not only of 2/3 majority, but also 1/4 of the states should ratify it. State legislatures should ratify the bill. Okay, now we can see the position of the US Senate. It's very powerful in some cases. Okay, it has a final say in the financial legislation too. Now some factors are there which are responsible for this superiority of the Senate. What are they? Let us see. It is of small size, so that every member gets a huge time to speak or carry out the debate, as compared to the 435, as compared to the many members of the House of Representatives. They are elected for 6 years. They get sufficient time, so long tenure is a factor. They are never dissolved. This is a quasi permanent house, like it never gets dissolved as a whole. Now there is direct election, which makes it even more popular, because people's opinion are directly represented, and it has a wider base, because a congressman represents a state. There are two people, two representatives are elected from a district or a state of the United. And now the special powers is that they can deny ratification or the treaties, appointment making, as I have told you. It has equal lawmaking powers as with regard to the US House of Representatives. They enjoy freedom of speech, that too the House of Representatives enjoy. And so these things make the powerful move. It is the powerful house of the US Congress, and Senate represents a federation, and this federation helps, it reduces the powers of the president, and it prevents the misuse of the powers by the president. Okay, now the topic is the lawmaking powers. Okay, you can see here a chart is given, it is for your understanding. Now we say now US constitution is a written constitution, so the constitution is the law of the land, it is more superior, and both the houses we know have equal lawmaking powers. Okay, the president can also use suspensory veto vote if the if the bill gets suspended. You can see the readings here. See, first reading, second reading, third reading. In the first, second, third reading, these things can happen. Bill is rejected, bill is pending. Okay, in case the bill goes back to the previous house, if it is the reconsideration part of the bill is passed, it is presented to the President of India. The president can do these things, reconsideration, again it goes to the parliament, make amendments, and if now the president doesn't do it within 10 days, he have to give his verdict. Otherwise, now if he doesn't do it, if 2 times the bill is passed, he will have to sign, because it is the opinion of the people. He cannot override their opinion, and here the bill becomes an act and withholds his consent. It doesn't become an act, and it is declared invalid. Now in case of disagreement, conference committees are there, and here there is no difference between private and public bill. There is no government, no opposition in the Congress. Okay, all MPs are private members, all bills are introduced by them, and there are no so-called government bills because no opposition exists only. Now opposition exists when you are fighting for a direct election or general elections in the districts, but then if the members of one party are elected from that district, the members of the other party can also be elected. So it doesn't say that there is an absolute control of one party. Okay, now I've told you the committees can do what things. Okay, and money bills can only be introduced in the House of Representatives, but the real amendment power as far as money bills are concerned lies with the hands of the Senate. Okay, they are also subjected to the judicial review. Okay, otherwise how will they function? The judicial review is very important. They will see if the bill is going against the constitution or not. So these are the lawmaking process you can see here. Okay, I hope you understand. Next we come to a big comparison, and this is the last part of the chapter. Okay, before that you can see this you can pause the screen and read. This is all the process that I have told. It is indeed a complex process. So till now only 99 or 100 amendments have been made since the US Constitution was made. So you can see it's a bit complex process, but this all things I have told you can just pause your screen and read it. It's the same. Okay, now we come to the last part of the chapter, which is comparison between the US Senate, the Indian Rajya Sabha, and the British House of the Lords. In Britain, this House of the Lords is the second house. Okay, and we will also conclude that the US Senate is the most powerful second chamber in the world. See how you can see a picture on your screen. There we have the differences. See, in India we have Union Parliament. Non-sovereign federal parliament means it is subjected to judicial review of the Supreme Court. Bicameralism, both two houses. Okay, and see, upper house, lower house. You have already discussed these things. These are the conclusions. I've made it in the form of chart. It suits you. Okay, see the states. Okay, Britain, British Parliament, sovereign parliament of unitary state. It's a unitary state. Okay, these are federal states. Okay, that's why they are non-sovereign, but here it is a sovereign parliament. And now bicameralism, upper house is the house, this is called the House of the Lords, and the lower house is called the House of the Commons. This is the second house. Okay, you can see in a line, these three are the second house with respectively in each country. Now the lower house is called the House of the Commons. They are directly elected. Commons means the common people, that's why remember that it is directly elected. Powerful house, one of the most powerful houses, lower house in the world. And here we have checks and balances. In India, if we see, go through my previous videos, you will see that there is always a check and balance between the upper house and the lower house. Okay, both have directly, in some cases this one is more stronger, this is more stronger, so India is in a balanced state too. Okay, but if USA, you see that it is a federal government is there, and bicameralism is there, and these are all democratic countries. Okay, these are all democratic countries, whether federal or unitary structure, these are democratic countries, because here elections happen by popular vote and people's aspirations are taken into account while framing the policies of the country. Now you can see the upper house, it is, see, a very strong house. We can see here, we just now see strongest second house in the world. So this is the thing you can see here. Now let us compare things with US Senate and British House of the Lords, and again US Senate with the Indian Rajya Sabha. Okay, in this way we will go on, and also comparison between the US Senate and the Swiss Senate and the French Senate. Okay, this is the last thing. We can also do the comparison between American and Indian speakers, but it is not required. Still I will do it. Okay, now that you know the differences here we have, it's sufficient for you. I don't think more things are required to know, but yes, I would try to explain some. Only a few important points are there which you need to listen to. Okay, in the House of the Lords in Britain, we have 7, this house and this house we are comparing, we have 725 members. Okay, in this case, but here we have 100 members. Here the lawmaking or amendments become more difficult here in this house as compared to this. This is also a difficult one, but still. Now you come to the lawmaking powers. The Senate has an equal share in the lawmaking powers that we know as compared to the House of Representatives, but the House of the Lords is, after the acts of 1911 and 1949, it is in a virtual existence. That's it makes it the weakest house in the world. The House of the Lords can delay a non-money bill for a year. Okay, for a year. As against this, the Senate enjoys vast and effective lawmaking powers. Any ordinary bill can be initiated in it, but no bill can convert into law unless it receives the the confirmation by both the house in case of US, but the joint conference committee, as we know, it favors the Senate only. So the Senate is a bit more powerful. And in case of the financial powers, we know that the Senate plays an important role, but in case of the House of the Commons, it can only be considered that money bills which come to it after the laws have been passed by the House of the Commons. It can neither reject nor amend them. They don't have the powers, and they have to bear the bills anyway. But US Senate, we have seen, they have a final say on the financial legislations. Okay, now we come again, we are dividing it. See, legislative powers, financial powers, executive powers, and general powers. Now come the executive powers. Now the US Senate has a direct control over the appointments and the treaties, as we have seen a few minutes ago. Without senatorial approval, the president cannot do anything. But the status of the House of the Laws as the highest court of appeals has now come to the end, because previously it became a court type of thing, because their final verdict was listened to. But now there is a Supreme Court of the United Kingdom. This has wrecked the situation in the upper house, so it is the weakest house. Now, general comparison, if we make, the Senate enjoys co-equal powers when there is an amendment or proposing an amendment in the Constitution, and the amendment making power is in the hands of the House of the Commons in case of Britain's parliament. Okay, this point suggests that it is the weakest in the world and it is the strongest in the world. So we have done it. Now we come to the US Senate, this and this, Indian Rajya Sabha. Now we know that in India it is an indirectly elected house. It also has these two houses have a balance of powers, because laws can be introduced in any house, but the money bill will have to be introduced in the Lok Sabha only. Now the Rajya Sabha has a 14-day time to give approval, reconsider the bill. Now as little control over the executives, because in the upper house, because from the lower house only, Lok Sabha, our Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are elected, and not from the Rajya Sabha. So the Council of Ministers are collectively as well as individually responsible to the lower house and not the upper house. So we can see the powers. Okay, and there are many members here in the lower house of the United Parliament, but here there are only a few members, so that they can take a judgmental decision and a good decision. Now we compare a US Senate with the Swiss Council of the State and the French Senate. So when we compare the Senate with the second chambers in case of Switzerland and France, you see the Parliament of France, and this is Switzerland. So beautiful, right? Now we will compare that the Swiss Council of States, where it is this. The Swiss Council of States appears to be a match in respect of organization. It consists of 2 representatives elected and by full canton, and 1 representative elected by half canton. Now it consists of just 46 members. The Swiss Council of States consists of 46 members, as against now the Swiss we have the Federal Assembly or the National Council, another house which consists of 200 members. These two houses enjoy equal powers in all spheres except the general budget, that is introduced only in the National Council, and the railroad budget in the Council of the States. Okay, This we have to remember. Every bill has to be passed by both the houses before it becomes a law. Both houses enjoy equal executive powers, and in a joint session they try to solve a problem or pass a bill. However, in actual practice, the National Council dominates the working of the system or the parliament, okay, in the assembly, federal assembly. Now it is not as powerful as the US Congress. So we can conclude that in Switzerland people exercise, this is so many members, these are directly elected from the people, but these are the members of the council of the states, and so here the people exercise a lot more power in the lawmaking process, and the US Senate is more powerful than the Swiss Council also. And the French Senate is less powerful than the Senate. Again, we come to the French Senate now. This is the French Senate, and it is the French Parliament actually. Now the French National Assembly is there, but in case it is French National Assembly is there, and this is the French Senate. This is the second house, this is the first house, this is the upper house, this is the lower house, this is the upper house. But in case of all financial bills, this enjoys a more powerful position, and money bills can be originated only in the National Assembly, and the government is responsible before it. The French Senate is less powerful, so we can conclude that the US Senate is more powerful than both the French and the Swiss Senate. Okay, so we can conclude that thing. Now we compare the Indian and American speaker. The British speaker, the Indian speaker, the American speakers are the presiding officers of the lower house. We know the British speaker presides over the British House of the Commons, Indian speaker over the Lok Sabha, and the American speaker over the House of the Representatives. So the British and the Indian speakers are politically neutral, but the politically neutral here, but it is a partition. The speaker is a partition because he or she is a party leader too. Now I have forget to give you the thing regarding the British House of the Commons. Here I have not put the symbol, I'm sorry for that, don't mind. Okay, in case of the Indian speaker, he or she maintains political affiliations, but inside the Lok Sabha, he or she has to be a neutral speaker. But here, he or she is a party person. The absence of the executive in the House of the Representatives gives the US Speaker the full opportunity to exercise his authority as the chairman. So no person other than the US Speaker is powerful here. His or her authority works, but it is not in case of the Indian Parliament, because both are elected. The PM as well as the cabinet of ministers are responsible and elected from the Lok Sabha only, and in Lok Sabha we have the speaker that we are comparing with the speaker in the American Parliament. Okay, especially the House of the Representatives. Now the British speaker is politically neutral and nor a man of majority or minority. He speaks only rarely. Now we are talking about the British, and political neutrality is maintained, and he can remain a speaker for as long years as he can. In case of Britain, okay, in now this also gets followed by the Indian speaker. Now upon his British speaker, upon his election as a speaker, the British had to cease as the party member. The British speaker of the Parliament cannot, no party affiliation should be there. Only he cannot voice his feelings against or for any party, or he has to resort order in the party. Once elected as the Speaker of the House of the Commons, he continues until he quits. Now, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha also acts in this way, but here it is a party person, so he contests elections. You have to contest elections after 5 years. Okay, his office is not infinite. Okay, the position of the Speaker of the House of Representatives is vastly different. We saw he or she is a party person and leader of the majority in the House, and never unanimously elected. So he or she favors the party which has majority of the vote and not the party which has the minority of the votes, or not in consultation with the opposition party also. Now the US Speaker can suspend the business of the House unless the ruling is obeyed. He interprets the rules. Veto votes always in favor of the party which for he or she votes. And now his active association is not as recognized system. We know that he is a partial person, but in case of Britain and India, it is an he or she is an impartial person. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.